Okay, we're going to call this buying your first gun. What do you need to know about buying your first gun? When you go buy a gun, the things that you want to consider is, one, what are you going to use it for? Once you determine what you're going to use it for, then you determine what size you want and have you shot it. I would recommend, if somebody was going to go buy a gun, you go to a gun range that has guns for rent, and you rent you an automatic, and you rent you a revolver, and you rent you a 9mm versus different calibers. Remember, when you go buy a gun, it's like anything else in the world. You've got people that aren't necessarily ethical or have integrity, and they're out to make money, and it's a business. Now, there's some good dealers out there, but there are some shysters out there. So when you go buy a gun, the best gun for you, the guy who's selling you the gun, is the gun he has and he wants to get rid of. That's the best gun for you. Don't be a fool. Don't be suckered into, when you go to a gun store, and listen to the guy behind the counter saying, oh, he knows all about guns, I'll just tell him what I want and he'll tell me what to get. That's not a good way. You need to do your own research. If you're going to watch these videos, you're going to be able to determine the pros and the cons of different types of guns, different size guns, different bullets. You're going to have an education by watching these videos to know what's the difference between a 9mm that's a small bullet and a 45 that's a bigger, fatter bullet. You're going to know the ballistics of that bullet, which one does more damage, which one is less likely to jam, which one is more likely to ricochet off something, which one is more likely to penetrate versus hollow point or round nose, solid. All those things, there's a lot of, Einstein said, if you can explain a subject easy, you don't understand it well enough. Okay? When you go in to buy a gun, there's a guy behind the counter trying to explain everything about a gun and knows everything you want from a few questions, trying to sell you a gun. That should be a clue. Okay? In law enforcement, we call that a clue because it just doesn't pass the smell test. Something's not right. It doesn't seem reasonable. Hairs on the back of your neck stand up. We're going to talk about that when you get in your flight or flight, or when you're in a critical incident, the things that start happening physiologically. Our bodies, we're already got some instinctual things, and on my horse videos, if you were watching some of those, there's a lot of instinctual things that go on with horses. There's a lot of instinctual things that go on with humans. Basically, the will to survive and live and not get hurt, and we kind of program to trust people, but really in reality, we're born not to trust people because we don't know who to trust. Well, we want to live. We don't want to do something that's going to hurt us. We don't want to go and think, if somebody came to you and go, yeah, there's a riot in LA and they're killing everybody, but you know what? If you bring this gun in there, you'll be safe. Well, you're only going to be safe till you get these 6 rounds off, and then you're screwed. Okay? And again, we're going to talk about how many rounds do you want? How many do you need? What do you want for the gun? Most of your magazines will hold 9, 10, 11 rounds. They have what's called a double stack magazines that will get into 13, 15, as much as 19 rounds. Okay? Well, the pros and cons, Rick, why would I want to have a magazine that only holds 7 or 8 rounds when I can have one that holds 13? Well, there's a lot of reasons. The one that holds 17, 18, 19 is going to be heavier. That's more weight. If you're carrying it, that's more weight. It's heavier. Is that good? Sure, it's good. Remember we talked about weight? When you're shooting a gun, the heavier the gun, the less it's going to kick. So if you got more weight, that's going to make it kick less till you get down to the last few rounds. And that's kind of a minor, small point that really isn't a thing, but that's just some of the things you need to consider. Do you want a single stack mag? They're going to hold less. Double stack mags are going to hold more. They call it double stack because they're staggered. So therefore, instead of just having a straight stack, it makes it thin. It makes it thin, it makes it smaller. This, I got to have a bigger grip. A lot of people with small hands don't have big grips. They don't like double stacks because their fan can't get around. Once this is in the gun, their hand can't get around it. If I put this gun in here, because this magazine fits, this grip's going to be bigger than this grip that's only got a single stack. So, lots of considerations. Do you want a safety? I am not a safety guy. I don't like safeties on guns. I like guns with no safeties. Rick, that's dangerous. Yeah, well, whatever. Revolver's been around for years and they ain't never had a safety. Again, this is my safety. A revolver, that's all there is safety. Gun don't go off. I can load this gun, set it anywhere, I can throw it, I can do it, this gun ain't going off. You know when it goes off? When I stick this finger in this trigger and I pull it. That's when the gun goes off. Okay, so do people need a safety? No, but over time, between the liberal media and government wanting to get guns, tell you how dangerous they are and get everybody scared of them so nobody educates himself, nobody wants to be around them. I've told you before, I'm a big Second Amendment guy. I like people that have guns. I like them to know how to use them. I like them to be able to defend themselves. When you depend on someone else, you give up your ability to take care of yourself. That's not a good thing. Although a lot of people want to think of that, and government wants you to think that, because then they get to say, we'll protect you, we'll provide, you don't need to do anything. And then they also have the ability to say, you know what, we don't have the money to provide, you're on your own. You know what, we're busy right now, we can't help you. That when you give somebody the ability to protect you, you give them the ability to say, we're not going to protect you. When you take on the responsibility to protect yourself and own a gun and become educated, you can defend yourself. You don't have to depend on anybody. Doesn't matter if anybody else says we don't have time or we can't help you. Guess what? I don't need you. I can do it myself. So, and I don't dial 911. And you dummies out here seeing me with these guns trying to figure out where I live and come on out here. Well, that's all right. I can test out some new bullets on your ass. Ooh, he said ass. Look, like I said, I'm pretty straightforward. I'm used to training cops and military guys, so my language kind of gets colorful. If that bothers you, either don't come or get over it. I'm not here to cater everybody's whims and needs. I'm trying to give you provide a service that's going to help you, that I think is that every person, not even just an American, all over. On my horse channel, I got a lot of my people are in Norway, Sweden, all different areas of the countries, and I like that. I like the fact that information can be out there. If you've never had a gun and you look at these, I think the best gift you can give your wife or your daughter is the ability to defend herself. And I don't care what gun it is, they ought to be able to pick up a gun and put that gun in action. If I see a revolver here, if I know what I'm doing, even if I ain't never shot a gun, watching this video, I would know I need to close this cylinder, put my finger in here and start squeezing the trigger till it goes boom. And I'll just keep squeezing the trigger till it stops going boom. Anybody can do that. That's not hard, and that could save your life in a crisis. You may think the cops come to your house, cop gets shot, knocked down, his gun falls down. Because you're scared of guns, or you've never used a gun, or you're not familiar with the gun, you don't do anything. You know what? I don't care what the gun is. If it's on the ground and it might shoot, I'm picking it up and I'm trying to put it in action. Now in the military, you have to know what guns everybody carries so you can use your partner's gun, so you can switch ammo, so you can fix malfunctions and do all that. And if you want to get to that level, you can, but at a minimum, you ought to be able to put a gun in action. I don't know what my time is here. Since I started this new channel, I don't know if they let me upload over 10 minutes. Usually on new channels, they lock you in at 10 minutes. I'm at 7 minutes now. So, a lot of things to consider on what gun you want. Automatic, revolver, enclosed hammer. Do you want a safety? Glocks, they say they're a safe gun. They don't have a traditional safety that you have to click on and off. Glock has a safety on the trigger. 1911s have a safety, a thumb safety right here. If you don't grip this gun and push this safety in, that's a safety. So I don't really need the other safety, because even with the gun back here, unless I have my hand on the grip, if I pull this trigger, this gun doesn't go off. This gun doesn't squeeze. I want to clear it again because I walked away from it. This will not go off unless my hand is on the hammer, and that's called a safety. It's called a backstrap safety, or I think there's another term for it. Beaver tail, I can't remember. But anyway, unless this is pressed in, this trigger doesn't work. Watch when I press this in. Oh, works. Because this is a safety. Lots of different safeties out there. I like safeties that you don't have to consciously take off. The problem with safeties is that in a crisis, when things start hitting the fan and you're thinking of 1,000 different things, you don't remember to take the safety off. And that's when your gun goes click instead of bang. And that's a bad sign. It's a good sign for the crook or the criminal, because when he hears your gun go click, he's thinking, dummy, that's my advantage. Now his gun's going to go bang, or he's going to attack you and take your gun. And then he'll know how to fix it and make it go bang, because he'll take the safety off. So that's why I'm not a big fan of safeties. Now, you know, there's going to be, I'm sure if some gun guy's going to watch this, oh, you should never tell people not to use safety, that's dangerous. Look, I'm a dangerous kind of guy, okay? I like riding horses, riding motorcycles fast, shooting guns. I was rappelling out of helicopters in the middle. I'm like danger, okay? I don't care. I'm not reckless, but I'm not going to live my life being scared of everything and not doing something. Safeties cause lag time. They make you think. It adds an extra step in saving your life, and that's why I don't like them. Through my experience and my training, I think they end up hurting more people than they help. Now, if you leave your gun out and somebody finds it and they don't know and they pull the trigger and the safety's on, well, great. Then maybe you could save a life. But if people understand you don't pick up guns and pull the trigger unless it's yours or you're planning to shoot, they shouldn't do it. I'm at 10 minutes. We'll end that there. Buddy, Miss T, you're good boys.